And so now that I've gone and saved my practice one time, I now have two available options available to me, and that's my clinician enrollment and my submission information. So my clinician enrollment is going to allow me to put all the providers that are associated with this specific practice that I'm enrolling. So I'm going to go ahead and I can choose the enrollment template, which is very similar to the multi-practice upload option, and this is going to be where I have a CSV file that I need to fill out and put all those providers in. So let's go ahead and download that one first. So I'm going to go ahead and download that template. And once I open it here, we'll see that it's very similar to the multi-practice option that we have available to us. So we'll go ahead and here, enable editing. And so here it's asking for everything that is associated with this specific provider. So I have my clinician's first name, last name, NPI. Anything that is in red with the name required on top of it obviously is just that. We need it in order for you to proceed further and enroll your practice within the Compass PTN. So you can see we need one row is going to be for one provider, and we absolutely need everything that is marked as required to be filled out completely. If it's not filled out, then we are unable to process this file. So it will be a lot easier if this is able to go ahead and fill it out first time correctly. And so again, I already have a file that is filled out. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my upload clinician file. And so again, much like the upload multi-practice option, this is now going to bring me into a new screen where I can choose a file that I need to upload. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my choose file option. I can go ahead and select the file that I need to fill out that has already been filled out. So I go ahead and select that one, hit open, hit that upload file button, and you can now see that I have that green success message saying that that file has been uploaded. Again, this file will be processed once you're in an approved status, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit additionally. So once I have done that, I'm going to go back to my enrollment form. I can now expand that clinician section, and you can see now that that file is present. It's available for upload when it was downloaded. So that is going to be something that you have access to kind of see to make sure, yep, I got every provider on there. Once you're in an approved status, any adds or removals of your clinician from the program will need to be going through our support staff, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. The final section that I need to fill out is going to be my submission information button. And so this is going to be the business associate agreement that we need to have every practice filled out. So again, much like the clinician and the multi-practice option, there's an available download button that will download the BAA form, and then you're able to upload it, very similar to like you had done in previous screens. So again, you'll go ahead and find it. I have my BAA filled out already. I'll go ahead and select open and upload that file. So once that file is uploaded, again, another green success message will appear, as well as the file that I just uploaded and the name and who it was by. So I'll go ahead and select my enrollment form. Again, this will always bring me back to my enrollment form. And so now that you can see I've filled out the entire form, I now have a second button that is viewable on my screen, and this is going to be my Submit for Review button. So this is when all my information is available. So I need to have all the questions filled out, and I need to have both my clinician enrollment file present and my BAA file present. So once all that is filled out, I am now able to go ahead and hit my Submit for Review button later. Just for example, I'm going to go ahead and clear out one piece of information in order to show you what it looks like when something is not accurately filled out. So we'll go ahead with you can see my program participation information is not filled out. So I'm going to go ahead and hit try to submit for review later. And you can now see all the red text boxes that have appeared on top. So these are all the questions that I have not filled out currently. So I'm not able to go ahead and fill that out. And you can see anything that is not filled out is now highlighted in red. So in program participation, it's not highlighted. Practice information, again, it's kind of the same thing. So we need to get that all filled out and move forward with that. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly do this here so you can see what it looks like when it's in a completed status. So again, the nice thing is that everything is highlighted for you so you're aware of what fields that need to be filled out in order to proceed further in your enrollment process. And so again, as I've mentioned already, you are able to put one person as a point of contact, and this person will have access to the system. And so it's important to make sure that the person is aware of it, because once you're in an approved status, you will receive an email for anyone that is in that box listed as a practice point of contact. And let's see, I believe that should do it. So hitting my Submit for Review button will go ahead and put it in a submitted status. So now you can see a couple of things. I get a green success message up top, and that kind of green success message will follow you around throughout the system whenever you save your information correctly. My status field indicator is now in a blue submitted status. So now that's letting me know that this form for this particular practice is now in a submitted status. We'll go back to my practice enrollment. And so now this brings me back to my dashboard. And now you can see that the original file that I uploaded in my Enroll Multiple practice has now processed. So that was about, I don't know, 15 minutes, I think exactly, for that file to be processed. So a couple of things to note, you will get email notifications along the way. So you'll get email notifications once those practices have uploaded, once they have been in approved status, and then as well as if any errors occurred when you're uploading any of those files. So the clinician form was not correctly filled out, you were not correctly have your practice enrollment completely filled out. So anything along those lines, you'll get a very detailed email as far as what is currently the issue with your file. So a couple things to note here is, okay, one, all the practices I now have on my dashboard are the practices that I have filled out originally from my multiple practice upload. The only one that was not part of that multiple practice upload was now my Main Street practice, and you can see that here. It's a little bit different as I don't have a health system associated with it. So if that is something that I want to do, I can go ahead and fill that out. If we click into one of those practices that I use in my multiple practice upload, you can see that information that was filled out and uploaded in there is now pre-populated into the form. So you can see, yes, I was part of a health system. Here's my health system street address, as well as the city, name, and then my zip code. And we go all the way down to the practice information section. And you again can see all that information is again pre-populated from my enrollment spreadsheet that I filled in for the multiple practice upload. So basically, once I've done the multiple practice upload, I have to start filling out information as, does your practice serve in a medically underserved area? So any point in that is where I'll be picking up on the form. And just for comparison's sake, you can see that my Save and Complete Later button is the only button that I have. So in order to move forward, I need to have my clinician information filled out and my BAA form filled out in order to move forward and submit this actual form. Navigating back to the dashboard again, we can always see our status indicator as far as what status my practice is in. So anything that is in an incomplete status is now waiting for me to fill out additional information. Anything in a submitted status is now waiting to be approved within the Compass PTN. So you can see here from my entire dashboard, I am now waiting for my one practice, my Main Street practice, to be in an approved status in order to move forward with this. I'm still able to go ahead and click into it and view this information, but I'm still waiting for it to be approved, and once it's approved, we'll have an option to actually submit data for that specific practice. With the dashboard, I'm able to filter practices based on their name. So as you can see, as I start typing, my dashboard filters out any practices that don't match my query up top. I can search based off of the practice name as well as ID. So you can see here as I type in Minnesota 0020, I now get my list shortened down and see just the practice that applies to that specific practice ID. We can see who has submitted that information. So this is my last name that was filled out. So you can see that that is the person that was submitting this information, as well as what data was submitted. And then this will change as it goes from a different status. So if it's in an approved status, we can see who was the one that approved it, as well as that information was approved. Hitting the X button will go ahead and clear out that query that I put in there, and will allow me to see my entire list of practices. So again, this is going to be any practice that you're associated with that you've been in the process of filling out. You always have the option to enroll another practice. So after you've done the multiple practice upload, if you want to add an additional practice, you can go ahead and hit that enroll single practice and begin filling out that information again. Clicking the practice enrollment option will bring me back to that screen. Again, you always get that soft warning if you've entered into a form, started filling out information, or clicked in the screen asking if you want to save that information. So I'm going to go ahead and hit leave and not save that information and bring me back to the dashboard. So I want to thank you for taking your time and watching the demo. I hope this was informative, and please, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support staff, which can be found throughout the system. Right down here in the bottom, our support staff is happy to help you either by email or phone number, and they can help triage any questions that you have and help you navigate the system. So thank you again, and once again, my name is Antonio Vega from Telegen.